Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to show you how I made a Roblox football game inspired by Captain Tsubasa, using Claude MCP, ChatGPT, Meshy AI, Blender, Roblox Studio, and a lot of AI-assisted development. The idea for this game came from my love of Captain Tsubasa. Football games have evolved for decades, but one thing always caught my attention. How do modern anime-style football games create those huge stadium audiences without rendering thousands of individual spectators? Before I even started building the game, I asked ChatGPT that exact question. The answer was exactly what I expected. Most anime football games don't use individual audience characters. Instead, they use painted stadium artwork, combined with animated crowd sprite sheets. ChatGPT even generated visual examples showing how crowd sprites are animated frame by frame to create the illusion of a living stadium full of fans. With that mystery solved, I moved on to building the stadium. I asked ChatGPT another question. Should I build the stadium directly inside Roblox Studio using parts, or generate a low-poly stadium using Meshy AI? The recommendation was to use Meshy AI for the main stadium structure, then use Roblox parts for details like stands, stairs, lighting, and gameplay elements. I then asked another important question. Should I generate the stadium from a text prompt or from reference images? The recommendation was reference images, because they usually produce more accurate results. But of course, I wanted to experiment. I copied the suggested prompt, pasted it into Meshy AI, clicked generate, and got a stadium with almost 8 million triangles. The result looked terrible, so I went back and prepared multiple stadium reference images from different viewing angles. This time I uploaded 4 reference images and enabled multi-view generation. The first result came out at around 1.3 million triangles, which was much better. After texturing, I used Meshy's remesh feature. The remeshed version was reduced to roughly 7,000 triangles, which is perfectly acceptable for Roblox Studio. The geometry looked good, but the texture quality was another story. Several areas were blurry and lacked detail. You can edit textures directly inside Meshy, but for large texture fixes, I strongly recommend Blender, because it's much easier to work with. Let's look at the exported texture. Inside the export folder, you'll find the UV texture image used by the stadium. To improve it, I uploaded the texture to ChatGPT and used a simple prompt asking it to increase contrast, sharpen blurry areas, and replace blurry regions with cleaner colors. The new texture looked much better. Then I imported it into Blender. Inside Blender, I opened a UV editor window and loaded the new texture. Immediately I noticed a problem. The UV layout no longer matched correctly. The reason was simple. ChatGPT had effectively redrawn the texture instead of preserving the original UV layout. To fix this, I opened a new ChatGPT session and uploaded the original UV texture again. This time my prompt specifically mentioned that the image was a UV texture and that the size and UV layout must remain unchanged. That produced a much better result. After importing it back into Blender through the shader editor, the texture aligned properly. The quality improved, but some areas still needed manual cleanup. So I switched to texture paint mode. Using a hard brush and carefully selected colors, I manually painted over the problematic areas. For straight lines, I changed the stroke method from space to line. After finishing, don't forget to save the texture. Otherwise, all your painting work will be lost. Now that the texture is fixed, it's time to export the stadium. Switch to object mode. Select the stadium. Export as FBX. Enable selected objects. Set path mode to copy. Enable embedded textures. And set the scale to 0.01. After importing into Roblox Studio, I scaled the stadium up 10 times. To verify the size, I placed a Roblox dummy inside the field. The football pitch texture wasn't ideal, so I imported a new football field from the toolbox, scaled it up, and removed unnecessary parts. Now we had the stadium, the field, and the goals. The next thing we needed was a football. I found a football model in the toolbox and added a highlight effect to give it a more anime-inspired visual style. Then I added an R6 dummy and started working with Claude. My goal was to generate 4 national teams: Brazil, Portugal, Argentina, and France. These happen to be my favorite teams. Inside Claude, with MCP already configured, I created a new project called Roblox Football World Cup 2026 Tournament. The project contains detailed documentation about team structures, controls, match flow, AI behavior, ball physics, goalkeepers, set pieces, fouls, cameras, and much more. For the first version, Claude automatically generated all 4 teams. It assigned outfit colors correctly and even searched for players expected to participate in the World Cup. Each team received 11 players, including star players like Messi, Ronaldo, Mbappe, and Neymar, just as I requested. Claude created a Teams folder containing 4 separate team folders. Let's test it. The team selection interface looks great. I can choose a team. The match begins. Both teams spawn on opposite sides. The currently controlled player is highlighted. The ball sticks to the player's feet. Opponents can tackle and steal possession. The scoreboard works. Everything looks good. However, there are no animations yet. So I asked Claude to add player animations and ball rolling animations. Let's test again. Much better. Now players have dribbling animations, shooting animations, and tackle animations. But I noticed another problem. The field boundaries were too restrictive. Players couldn't move freely. To fix that, I marked the boundary lines and asked Claude to expand the playable area. At the same time, I upgraded the shooting system. Instead of instant shooting, players now hold an energy bar to charge power. I also wanted aiming using the mouse cursor. The result was exactly what I wanted. The field boundaries expanded, shot strength depends on the energy bar. And when aiming, the cursor changes into a crosshair. Next, I upgraded passing. I wanted passing to use the same skill-based aiming system. Now I can point my mouse toward a teammate and accurately pass the ball. After that, I implemented free kicks and penalties. If a player is tackled from behind, a foul is called. The defending team forms a realistic defensive wall. And if a foul happens inside the penalty area, a penalty kick is awarded. Now it was time to create the crowd. Around the stadium, I placed multiple crowd parts and asked Claude to apply crowd sprite animations. Each crowd section contains a surface GUI. Inside it is a clipping frame. Inside that is an image label using a crowd sprite sheet. I asked ChatGPT to generate crowd sprite sheets for 4 teams. The generated version had a white background. I tried transparent PNG versions, but the results weren't very good. So I removed the background manually using GIMP. For this type of image, the Magic Wand tool works perfectly. After exporting as PNG, I uploaded the asset into Roblox. Then I gave Claude a simple instruction. I told it where the sprite sheet was located and which parts represented crowd sections. Claude automatically assigned crowd animations to the correct stadium sections. When we play the game, you can see the crowd waving. The effect is achieved simply by changing the X offset of the sprite image repeatedly. The Y offset determines which team's crowd row is displayed. It's a very lightweight solution and works surprisingly well. The GUI also needed team flags, so I asked ChatGPT to generate cartoon-style flags for all 4 teams. Now let's move on to my favorite part, visual effects. I usually create a VFX folder inside important objects. For star players, I create a dedicated VFX folder and populate it with particle systems from VFX asset packs. You can build everything from scratch, but it takes a lot of time. Personally, I prefer starting with high-quality VFX packs and customizing them. The football also contains a VFX folder. All effects are welded to the ball, so they follow it during gameplay. Since we have 4 star players, I created separate folders for Messi, Ronaldo, Mbappe, and Neymar. This naming convention helps Claude understand exactly which effects belong to which skill. For Messi's skill, I used green force field effects, combined with a trail effect. Trail effects require 2 attachments, one on top of the ball, one on the bottom. After configuring size, duration, and color, the ball leaves a beautiful green trail while moving. I repeated the same process for Mbappe, Neymar, and Ronaldo. With gameplay and VFX finished, it was time for the hardest feature in the entire project, cutscenes. If you've watched my previous videos, you already know the problem. Most AI-generated cutscenes are entirely procedural. Lighting, camera movement, effects, timing, everything is generated through code. That makes them extremely difficult to customize. Roblox's built-in animation editor isn't designed for cinematic sequences like these. Many creators use SceneAnimator, but I wanted complete control, so I built my own animation tool. I call it SceneAnimator. It's not perfect, but it gives me full freedom. I can animate objects, C-frames, cameras, lighting, GUI elements, decals, effects, basically anything I want. I spent an entire week building this plugin, but it was absolutely worth it. For cutscenes, I created a cutscene folder inside Workspace. Inside it, I placed background assets, duplicated star players, a dedicated cutscene ball, and all required effects. For player animations, I used Roblox's built-in animation editor. I created a simple supershot animation inspired by Captain Tsubasa. After publishing the animation, I copied the animation ID into SceneAnimator. When previewing the sequence, everything lined up perfectly. Particles activate at specific keyframes. The ball follows a custom C-frame path. The camera transitions between shots, visual effects trigger at exactly the right moments. I even added tools for camera snapping and camera keyframing. A huge amount of work went into these systems. I also created cutscene variations for all 4-star players. With everything prepared, I returned to Claude. I provided information about all VFX folders and cutscene assets. Then I requested implementation of super shot skills for Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. For each player, I described unique ball behavior. For example, Messi's shot follows a zigzag trajectory before reaching the goal. Claude integrated everything beautifully. I also asked for match settings such as day and night mode and configurable match duration. Let's test it. The star player gains possession. I press G. The super skill cutscene begins. Effects trigger. The camera moves dramatically. The shot is launched. Then the game smoothly transitions back to normal gameplay. Exactly what I envisioned. Before ending the video, let's quickly review the project structure. Inside Workspace, you'll find boundaries, cameras, crowd sections, cutscene assets, the football field, sounds, teams, stadium model, and the ball. Inside replicated storage, you'll find SceneAnimator save data, sound modules, match configuration modules, and the match engine module, which acts as the core gameplay system. Inside Starter Player, you'll find scripts like Crowd Animator and Tournament Controller. The Crowd Animator script handles sprite sheet animation by continuously updating image offsets. And Tournament Controller manages tournament progression, match settings, and game flow. This entire football game was built with a combination of Roblox Studio, Claude MCP, ChatGPT, Blender, Meshy AI, and custom tools. Hopefully this tutorial gives you ideas for your own sports game projects. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know which football skill or anime-inspired feature you want me to build next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Julian Alvarez.